The reason why and how it all started was we just decided to communicate with the education department, and we said, this is what we want to do. So we had the elder there, we had the head pastor of education department there, and it was over Zoom, and we said, we have this many kids, which was, I think back then it was like 3 or 4. And we said, we really want to push them in, and this is what it's going to look like. We're going to sit, we're going to worship, we're going to stay for a little bit, and then we'll leave. They're like, can we really support them? And I said, you know what, that's what we'll do. So let us just come in. I just want you to know we're coming in so that we don't distract you too much, right? We don't want to have them feel uncomfortable. That was our goal. We said, okay, let's go in. They said, you know what? Okay, let's do it. It was rough. In the beginning, it was rough. It was hard. It was constantly going back and forth, trying to figure out what we were going to do. But what's really, really, really important, it's team effort. It wasn't going to be done just us pushing in, and it wasn't just going to be done with the education department saying, we have kids with disabilities, you guys can stay. It's got to be a collaborative effort, and it's a continuous collaborative effort. So it's not a one-time deal, which is why it's so hard. It is hard. Communicating with parents, that was my initial step. We have a new student, great. Where's the mom or the dad? And it was gonna be, I spent 2-3 hours on the phone with these parents. And I said, what do you want from church? Yesterday, we had speakers share with us, parents were leaving church. Okay, so what do you want? How can I help your child? How can I support your child? How can I make your time at church feel like this is your home church? So that's what we started with when the new parents came in. What kind of support does your child need? How independent is your child? How does a child communicate? How does your friend do bathroom needs? How does a child have any problem behaviors? I needed to be prepared. So it was hours and hours. Okay, well, mom, let me call you back next night. I was looking. I don't understand. Looked at their IEP. Why do I look at the IEP? Not because I'm a special ed teacher, but because the IEP, not everything is going to be shown on that IEP, but it helps me understand where this child's setting is at school. Is the child pushing into gen ed? What kind of supports does the child have? So that I can make sure that at church, that first initial interaction is going to be successful. That was my goal. And then it's training volunteers. Yes, I know you guys all train your volunteers. And it's so hard because it's so individualized. You can't really come in and you're like, okay, so if you are working with kids with disabilities, this is what you do. And there isn't an answer key. And that's why it's so hard. Oh, I can tell you about like the most basic thing. And then it's like, but it really doesn't apply to my group. I can tell you this, but maybe it'll apply to 2 of my kids. So it's so hard. But we have to make sure, and this is why it's that collaborative effort, continuous collaborative effort. As the person who is in charge or is supporting the volunteers, the one-on-one volunteer, as that person who is supporting this one-on-one volunteer, I have to have firsthand experience. So if I want to teach you how you are going to support this child, I will take this child into the setting that you're going to be pushing into. I will be there and I will practice, I will try, and then see what other things that I did not expect come up. And then that's when I can support saying, oh, hey, it's best if you sit here. Hey, it's best if you're over here. But if I don't have any of that, I don't know how you're gonna train, right? We gotta be in that setting at all times. And then we make sure that we are explaining everything that the parent has shared so that this volunteer is really not surprised by anything. So yes, we don't really always want to focus on what the child is not capable of doing, but also what the volunteer needs to look out for, right? Do they have aggressive behaviors? If so, how are we going to address it? Do they have those sensory seeking behaviors? If so, what kind of fidgets do we need, right? What kind of different activities or toys or tangibles do these children need If it's Play-Doh, we have a student who always goes into worship and he has Play-Doh. We have a student who likes to throw in things, but also needs to constantly fidget. Sometimes I forget, I pull out my car keys. I have my classroom key, house key, my AirPods, and my car key, all of that. She'll fidget with that. Whatever it may be, we have to be prepared, right? Now, I think the biggest thing that I feel like is really working out for us at GM Juniors is that constant communication with the education department and the fact that myself and the staff are there. So we don't just, okay, 갔다 와, have a good worship, I'll see you later. No, let's go. We're moving with them. So we go, we sit, everything's good, the kinders are okay, great. Okay, let's go check 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Yes, they are jumping around, they are on the floor. You're right, they are. But they're there and they're happy. And the fact that they're in that area, in that room, where they have their peers. It's their grade level peers. It's their same age friends. So the fact that they're there, I love it, that they're being seen, right? So then once we have that, and then I go to 4, 5, 6. My 4, 5, 6 student doesn't come all the time, so I rarely get to see Pastor Casey. But we're there, and it's not just the volunteers. Please don't ever leave the volunteers with the kids. There should always be that support system, that staff that's always there, that's there within the vicinity to make sure we can support, if anything. Any problem behaviors, we're right there. It shouldn't be like, oh, we'll address it next week. It's now, and it's done immediately. Now, there are days when, yes, some of our kids do struggle. I understand. And that's why we have our room upstairs. We try, and if they don't want to be there, I'm not forcing them. Let's go. Let's get out of here. You're done today? All right, great, let's go. That's fine. It's their choice too. But one thing I think my main focus, I did want to really just introduce like, yes, this is how we do it. But really, I think our responsibility is to show and to share with the kids that don't know us, the kids that are in that gen ed setting, the kids that are in the education department. When I'm in there multiple times, kids churn. Why do they churn? Because it's loud. Why do they churn? Because the kids are on the floor. Why do they churn? Because they're a little weird. I understand. Don't block them. Don't just say, turn around, it's okay. It's fine. Hi. This is Sarah. You want to say hi? What's your name? You guys, it's okay. Different is okay. But I think our role is to make sure that that public population, that person, the kids, know how they can approach our kids. Unless we teach them, they're not going to know. Unless we give them the okay, come. You know why? Because they're kids. So why are we blaming them for not being accepting of our kids? In order for them to accept our kids, to embrace these kids who may look different, these kids that sound a little different, they're using iPads to talk and they're jumping around and they're biting their hands a little bit. It's all right. You just do the same thing probably behind the doors of your house or inside your room, but it's all right. So let them be okay to approaching our kids. Say, come. The best part was when I took a kid in and all of this one row of kids just went, shh. And I was like, hi. I was caught off guard because the student was just barely making it in. And they looked, and then they turned around. And that moment, it was like maybe a second or two. I was sweating because I was really supporting this student physically, and I was sweating. And then I said, you can say hi. It's okay. My student is just coming in. She's brand new, but you can say hi. And then 1, 2, 3 had this song where it's Dance, 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 and then it was like, high five, right? And you know what? I was like, oh my gosh, my student's gonna really hate me, but we're gonna do this. I literally like walked over, high five, come on, high five. You know why? Because they don't get that. But that's why I'm there. I want them to feel okay to approach. I want them to feel okay to go and make friends. And this is why I'm wearing my shirt. This is from my work. It starts with hello. You guys, when I was young, my mother is here, but when I was young, it was always, make sure you insa. You walk, 인사해야지. You have to insa. So you guys, I literally walk around now, Camp Church, and I'm like, 안녕하세요, 안녕하세요. And they might not know me. I don't know them, but it doesn't matter. You know why? Because I see you and you see me. And that's what I want to do. I want you to go out and be seen and help our students be seen, our friends. It's okay. We don't have to hide. We don't have to cover it up. We don't have to say, oh, shh, 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 sit better, sit better, sit better, quiet, good, shh. Right now, we're still there. And that's okay. You know why? Because it's the first few steps. I'm still there too. I'm like, oh, shh, stop, hold on. Oh my gosh, the kid's running up to the front of the stage. Oh no, oh my gosh. You know what? We're gonna have to let it go. And we're gonna say, it's okay. Let's jump. Let's dance. Let's turn the music up louder if my kids are a little too loud. I don't know. But you know what? Right now, all we need to start with is hello. Let them know that you see them. Let me know that you see me. And make sure you guys see each other, be there for each other, recognize, and embrace. Before you can embrace, you have to know this person is there. Before you can take it all in, you have to acknowledge this person by their name. You have to see them for who they are. That's why when Professor Carter yesterday shared that, I was like, oh yes, that's right. As all nations, we have decided we were gonna care. So I'm checking and I'm like, yeah, you're right. Our church is ready. We said, you know what, we're gonna create space for you. We're gonna make sure that these families come and they're welcomed. But now it's our chance to say, okay, let's mingle now. Not just, in little areas, but everywhere. And that's where we're going now. That's our goal. And our GM students with disabilities, and I keep saying it's my fault, but if you look on my last slide, you know what it says? It says, not GM students, but our students. We all belong to the same church. We all registered for the same church. They didn't register just for GM. We all registered for All Nations Church. So as members of All Nations Church, they're not mine, they're not yours, and what we need to do, we as in GM, we as in that special ministry, people who are in the special ministry, we really want to be that bridge. We want to be the bridge to connect the parents to where they want to be. Now, there are parents that say, oh, no. Can you please don't overstimulate the child? And I said, yes, but that's why we speak to the child, and that's how we make sure it's geared for every child differently, right? We see what they want, we ask what they need, we do our very best to be prepared to support the child in whatever setting the parent wants them to be in, right? So, I know it's super old. When I was at church, it was always, welcome. Okay, now I want everyone to stand up and say hello. You guys, my goal for when I first came into the conference yesterday, when I first walked in this morning, I wanted to make sure that no one was sitting alone. Because it should start with the adults. It should start with all of us. Whether you are already in the special ministry, or whether you are hoping your church will start a special ministry, or whether you are a parent with a child who has that disability, whatever you are, whoever you are, whatever category you fall into, you have to make sure you recognize every single individual, because we have to be a team, right? So yes, we're all from different areas. We're all from everywhere, different states. But in different churches, oh, how many people came from that church? Doesn't matter. Because we're all here to make sure that kids with disabilities, families that have kids with disabilities are being supported. They are going back to the church and they are being welcomed and embraced. At church, I'm going to wrap up with this. At school, I am known for queen of inclusion. Why? Because I have kids that, I have students that are aggressive, yes. I have students that stim all the time, and stimming is the whole like, all day. I have kids that are constantly in movement. Okay, Miss Sam, I'm gonna have her go into music. Oh, you are? Yeah, she'll be there. I'll see you later at 10 o'clock. Okay. And they're like, oh my gosh, what is she gonna do? It's music. Cut the talking. Turn the music on. It's okay. I don't put them in through English class. I don't put them into a social studies class. I put them in, I'm not unreasonable. I put them in where I know it's not going to be totally distracting and flipping the entire class around. So as long as we're responsible and we do it responsibly, it's okay. Music, STEAM classes, PE classes, make sure they're in there, right? That's why I'm here, because it doesn't matter. It's okay. And you guys, they're gonna get to a point where, and we only do it from K through 6th grade right now, because they get to a point where they're like, no, I don't wanna go. You know why? Because they see that they're being looked at differently. They see kids are looking at them like this, or they see the empty seats in that row. So in order to prevent that, it needs to start now. Sit next to them, embrace them, welcome them. And that's our next step. Our next step here at ANC, that's where we're pushing. That's where we're gonna go. We're gonna say, hi, and we have to be there a little earlier. We have to expose ourselves, and it's gonna be uncomfortable as adults. And I think adults are the problem. It's okay. We'll have to get through it. And as long as we put ourselves out there, they all come along, and it'll all come together. The first few times will be uncomfortable, but it'll be okay. So just get over it, get out there, put yourself out there, and enjoy, and explore, have fun. Okay, I'm good. Thank you.